was about to film a video with you guys today in regards to the 3000 GT VR4. So first of all, I haven't washed it. We're going to be washing it together today. As you guys can see, it's super filthy. I'm not even going to talk about the RSX. It's just as bad, so I might wash it after the video. But anyway, today we're going to be talking about what I love the most about the Mitsubishi 3000 GT platform. As far as an update with the builds, the 3000 GT still needs a flash on the Chrome ECU because it's running a little bit lean, so I'm not able to push it, and I haven't been able to give you guys a true POV video with this thing. It sounds absolutely gnarly. That's the update on the VR4. As far as the RSX, I already went ahead and picked up the Miguel bumper. I haven't made a video yet, and I have the Miguel rear diffuser. I'm just currently waiting on the wrap shop for me to be able to go in, remove this bumper, install the diffuser, install the Miguel bumper, wrap it, and hopefully this thing should be sick and ready to go. As far as the DSM, it's literally just been sitting. I really did lose motivation for it, but lately I think I might do a POV video on that car as well. It's currently on pump gas. I'm probably going to switch over to E85 to get the full power out of it and give you guys a nice POV video on the Eclipse as well. But yeah, and for the Evo, it's been at the paint shop for 3 months now. I kind of expected it, with paint shops always taking their time to kind of do something like that. I'm gonna go ahead and call them tomorrow and kind of get updates because it has been a while, and I'm pretty much ready to start on the forward-facing turbo build on the Evo. But that's just a quick update for you guys that are kind of keeping up with the channel. As far as right now, I did want to go ahead and make a video as far as like the things I love the most about the 3000 GT platform, or just the Dodge Stealth. If you do own one, go ahead and do me a favor and comment, you know, what you guys love the most about the platform as well. For people that are actually considering getting one, I do believe that the popularity of these is going to skyrocket over time, considering that it is a JDM icon. I'll go ahead and put this in here. Let's go grab the washing materials. Currently do have the Evo 4G63 that will be coming super soon. As you guys can see, it's just kind of sitting here. We'll be implementing the forward-facing turbo, still on the stock Evo 9 one, but coming super soon. Wow. How far does it go? I literally brought the worst type of shoes to use for washing a car, but I love me my white shoes. So first thing I've always loved about the 3000 GT or 3S platform is the community. It's by far been the kindest and the most helpful kind of people that I've had experienced in my automotive venture, I guess. Does it come off? Yeah, it does. It's just really on there. Is this cement? Nah, we're fine. Just from my time being in the DSM scene and being in the VR4 or the 3S scene, the 3S scene is a lot more welcoming and they're more willing to help you in general. Now, I do highly recommend for you to join the Facebook groups, or just make an Instagram account just to be able to keep in touch with the other owners. The Facebook groups is kind of like the new way of the forums. I kind of grew up around the DSM forums and kind of searching things up or Googling things, and I kind of saw the evolution of how, as car people, we kind of moved over to Facebook to kind of ask questions or kind of showcase our builds and stuff like that. So if you have questions, just make sure you go ahead and Google them. You do your research prior, and if you still can't figure it out, then you go ahead and ask. But you don't want to be that guy that wants to be spoon-fed the whole time, right? Because people don't like that. All right, so thing number 2 that I love the most about the 3S platform is going to have to be the unlimited, well, not unlimited, but there's a lot of variations of aesthetic modifications or just possibilities with the 3S, considering that there's like 3 generations, right? So we have the 1G, we have the 2Gs, and well, technically this is considered the 3G, right? Because it's the 3rd generation, the 99 for the last year. But there's so many possibilities and different types of headlights or bumpers, or, you know, just trims and just stuff you can do to your car specifically to make it look however you want. You could have the pop-ups, you could have the 99 rear garnish, you could have the 99 front end. You could just mix and match a lot of stuff, or do the Stealth conversion, or do the 3000 GT conversion, because essentially it's the same chassis, just different parts, right? So the variations or possibilities for you with a 3S is something really nice, because you don't really get that with other cars. For the DSM guys, of course, we have our Eagle Talons, but the 1G and 2Gs were very different, and you weren't able to mix and match. To me, I initially wanted a 1G 3000 GT because I love the pop-ups, and I actually wanted the 1G spoiler, which is the little one with the gurney flap coming out and a wide body, but for some reason I just ended up with the 99 spec. So this to me just looks very, it looks very exotic. It's my favorite type of look for the 3000 GT, and that's just because it's the it looks very similar to the Mitsubishi Eclipse, and just like the, I don't know, the front end just looks super aggressive when you're driving, and it's just look at the angles, bro. Like, it's a very good looking car. But I will be honest with you guys, the 3000 GT is actually not my favorite Mitsubishi at all. If you guys know me well, you guys already know that the Mitsubishi Eclipse will always be my favorite car. I don't care how cheap they are, I don't care how brittle they are, I don't care how unreliable people claim to be they are. It's just the Mitsubishi Eclipse has always been my all-time favorite childhood dream car. And the 3000 GT has always been, like, I would have to say it's Eclipse, then the Evo 9 has been my second favorite car for Mitsubishi, and then the 3000 GT, and then anything past that, it would have to be, I want a Stereon, I want the FTO, and then I wouldn't mind the Galant. People have always asked me if I would build the Galant. I'm just not a fan of the sleeper look. As you guys know, I love my cars to stand out. Anyways, that leads me to number 3, which is the exotic look that at least the 99 spec 3000 GT gives off. The stealth, there's certain bumpers or certain years that give me the Dodge Viper vibe, but this is the car that gives me, oh shit, almost fell. This is the car that just gives me the JDM Ferrari vibes. I know the Acura NSX is technically considered the JDM Ferrari, but to me this car is just, like, if you see this driving down the street, bro, like, I just love how it looks. It's very unique. There's not many cars that look just like it, and it just has a very nice aesthetic look to it that not many cars can pull off. It's something that Mitsubishi did that was out of the box, and I feel like back in the day they just didn't really care. They just wanted to build cool stuff, and they did a really good job. Which then leads me to the next good thing about this car is the fact that it's a JDM icon. So I know I say this a lot, I always compare it to the other JDM legends like the Supra, GTR, 300ZX, FDR X7, Acura NSX, but it's a car that belongs, no matter what people say or no matter how underrated this car is. It's going to be a car that's going to hold its place in the automotive scene no matter where you go. And overall, it's always going to have some sort of cult following. With, you know, I don't think they're ever going to be very popular like the Supras or the GTRs, but there's definitely going to be people that are going to want to build these or own these at some point in their life, and that also brings in the fact that they're going to appreciate in value, especially over the next 10 to 20 years. So I did just see one sell for over 100,000, which is a rare occurrence for a 3S, but asking prices of 20,000 to 40,000 for a clean example is nothing too far-fetched, right? So as long as you take care of your car and, you know, you leave it as stock as possible, which obviously I didn't, but I mean, I don't care. I love building these. I think it looks awesome, and if I hold on to it for 20 years, I'm sure it's going to be worth a lot more, you know, down the line. So same thing with the Evo, but it's just one of those cars that's going to keep appreciating in value, and if you hold on to it, you could always, for sure, you know, be sure that you're going to get your money back, or, you know, as long as you take care of it and it doesn't, you know, stop running, or you have it on jack stands, or you guys know the deal. So just take care of them. They're very rare. Of course, the VR4s, especially the 98 to 99s under 300 made, gives them a very special place, a very special price. Pretty crazy considering that I used to see these go for like $4,000 back in high school. So it's very cool to see, especially for a Mitsubishi, and I'm glad that people or companies or insurance companies are recognizing the fact that these are actually classic cars, and just because it's not considered a Ferrari or Lamborghini, it's still going to be worth its own weight, right? So but I was actually driving this car earlier today, and I live out here in SoCal, so as you guys know, traffic out here is super crazy. People don't know how to drive, and they stopped out of nowhere on the freeway, and I had to basically brake the hardest I've ever had to brake with this car. But the VR4 calipers held their own weight and stopped the car really fast. One thing I've noticed is that these VR4 calipers stop just as well as my DSM Brembos, which are Evo Brembos, and it stops just as well as my Evo does. And considering the fact that this car is a lot heavier than the DSM and Evo, just goes to show that the VR4 calipers are just as capable to stopping you in case of an emergency. So I could have lost the car, I could have crashed, I could have rear-ended someone, but luckily the car stopped just in time. Which then leads me to the next point, and that's going to have to be the power potential of the 6G72. So I did talk about this in the previous things that I hated about the car, which was the limited room and how hard it is to work on the 6G72, right? But at the same time, for those that are actually willing to work on these or are skilled enough to modify these to a high power output, can enjoy the benefits of the potential of the 6G. So in my opinion, I haven't really seen too many high horsepower builds on these, but I do know that it's very possible. If you guys search up a couple of videos on YouTube, I'm sure there's a couple cars out there with over 1,000 horsepower that, you know, they're obviously fully built, but I know on these you can make up to 600 wheel horsepower on the stock block and stock internals without having to worry about, you know, blowing your engine. So obviously once you modify a car to that horsepower, you should expect, you know, things to wear out, especially considering how old these cars are and how much the car has been abused previously. It's pretty cool to see how these cars can easily make 600 horsepower. I'll show you guys the engine bay right now, but I just want to make sure I finish washing this off. But of course, there's also the possibility of engine swapping these. So I know there's a couple 3S guys that have 4G63 swap these. I know there's mounts available, which is pretty cool, considering the fact that I did that with my DSM because it was a non-turbo Eclipse, right? So I only had 140 horsepower on my Mitsubishi Eclipse. It's in the garage, and I ended up putting an Evo 8 4G63 and made 440 wheel on the stock turbo with supporting mods and E85 down here in SoCal, which made the car very fast, at least for me. And I'm sure a 4G63 with like a bigger turbo would be more than enough to put this car, you know, it would make it one lighter and it would make it two a lot faster, and the parts would just be a lot more available for the 4G63 versus the 6G. So need to find a towel to dry up the VR4, so I'll use this right here. So yeah, this is swapped. Let me show you guys the engine bay actually, so you guys get an idea on how I swapped this one right here. So initially had a naturally aspirated 420A and took it out, made the transmission mount move a little bit forward, and then we went ahead and slapped in the Evo 8 4G63 with full bolt-ons, E85 stock Evo 9 turbo. And as you guys can see, it's just the amount of space you get versus the 6G72, which I'll show you guys right now, is pretty ridiculous. Anyways, let's go ahead and dry this thing. So yeah, as you guys know, this is my favorite build. I do have the carbon fiber lip ready to go on, but it just sits, as you guys can see. And I got roasted in one of the videos because I didn't have hood struts on this thing. Oh shoot, oopsie. There you go. So yeah, I need to replace the hood struts, but as you guys can see, there's a lot of room for a 4G63, right? It's just the amount of room you have to kind of get in here. You just have to remove a bunch of parts out the way to have access. So I kind of want to take it out on a test drive right now, just so you guys can go ahead and hear it, which is actually another thing, is the 6G72 sound. This thing does have a 3-inch downpipe, a full 3-inch catback, and an aftermarket cutout. If you don't know what a cutout is, it's an electronic piece of the exhaust valve that opens or closes, and it makes the exhaust louder, so it's a more direct route outside the car. I'm not sure if you guys can, not you guys can, but car sounds insane. It sounds really, really good, and it's probably the most aggressive sounding car that I have, and also the slowest. I don't know if it could beat the Type S. This makes 210. This makes 320. It's not tuned. This one's pretty much stock. I think it would be a good race. I think they're about the same, but considering the fact that this is only 2,700 pounds and this thing weighs over 1,000 pounds more than this, yeah, so it would be a tough one for this one. But I don't really think this car is meant for speed. Like I said, it's a GT car. It's definitely a cruiser. It's definitely something you enjoy taking to your local cars and coffee or car meet, because yeah, you just don't see this, which is also another thing that's really cool about these. Is if you build one of these, you're definitely going to stand out, just because not many people are willing to take on a 3000 GT or stealth build, and that's, you know, that's understandable, because I feel like you do need, you know, some sort of skill or just a basic knowledge of how these cars work and run, just to be able to build one, right? So it definitely wasn't an easy task for me. I definitely felt overwhelmed initially starting getting into it, but luckily I already had the experience with the Evo swap on the DSM, and as you guys know, that DSM did give me a lot of issues. It would break down on me. I was on the tow truck constantly, and I don't know, this one's been very reliable to me. I think it's never left me stranded. It's given me issues for sure. It's been at the shop for a very long time, but it's actually never ever left me stranded, which is another thing. So this one hasn't been unreliable. I did do all the maintenance, like the timing belt, water pump, extended oil pan, axles, fluids, etc., and it's been really good to me. So all right, so went ahead and finished washing the VR4. Looks super beautiful. Like, driving this thing around town is just it's just a beautiful car. So I do have a photo shoot with a fellow 3000 GT buddy out here in SoCal. We're gonna go down to Anaheim. What is up, dude?